When it comes to video game shows, the Tokyo Game Show is one of the biggest ones yet. This year, TGS 2019 was held at the Makuhari Messe Hall in the Chiba Prefecture of Tokyo. This massive convention center catered to a mix of over 200,000 fans and people in the gaming industry, including my team. Our first reaction entering the show floor was simply amazing. Even on private business days, TGS 2019 was overflowing with developers, business people, and more. Big companies like Sony, Sega, Namco Bandai gave it their all in their massive booths. Several different kinds of games were there to freely check out, as well as people readily available to answer your questions. I have to say though, one of my favorite booths to go to at the show was Sega. Sega had an enormous 4-sided booth that showcased their games extremely well. Even though they mainly showed 4 upcoming games, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, Yakuza 7, Sakura Wars, and Persona 5 Royale, they totally made up for it with their booth layout and friendly guides. Checking out the upcoming Persona 5 PS4 and PS4 Pros made me super hyped for it. TGS 2019 also showcased several phone games. Since phone gaming is huge in Japan, it was no surprise that there was a giant influence there. Some of the biggest companies like Konami spared no expense on showcasing iOS and Android games. Seeing how crazy big developers went for eye-catching spectacles were surreal. Take the Namco Bandai booth for example. It felt like you were in a mini Times Square with the company's colors glistening around you. Namco Bandai's area felt very open and very flashy, causing the hype to last longer. The Luffy and Super Saiyan Goku statues in the center of the showcase was a nice touch too. Getting to try the latest from the company impressed us a lot. Just want to let you know, be ready for a lot of anime games. Over at the Capcom booth, it was flooded with so many great titles. The main attraction was the recently announced Resident Evil Project Resistance. We didn't play a lot of it, but for the most part, it reminded us of Dead by Daylight. The biggest difference we came across is that you get to fight back with an assortment of weapons against a player-controlled series of zombies, lickers, and Mr. X. Capcom was certainly not shy on promoting currently available titles on all systems. They did show off some of the Resident Evil library that's coming out on the Switch, as well as the Mega Man Zero Legacy Collection that's coming in early 2020. My favorite, however, was the Monster Hunter World Iceborne area. That place was awesome. The big statue at the front of it was just so surreal, and then just seeing the crowds of Monster Hunter fans just coming was just really, really great. Who would I be if I did not mention the highest anticipated game for next year? Square Enix may not have had the biggest booth, but it surely had the biggest game. Final Fantasy VII Remake had a strong presence at the show. Of course, Square Enix knew how crazy people were wanting to play it, including us. There were rows of stations readily waiting for people to get their Final Fantasy VII fix on. But don't worry, we won't ruin it for you, but I will say this, it's good. Across the main hall of the show was the arena. This enormous area was not only responsible for housing certain esports competitions, but it also housed some PC peripheral companies, VR AR titles, and tech, as well as all of the upcoming indie games coming in Japan and the world. There were so many indie developers there. We had our fill talking with them and hyping up the next possible sleeper hit. I will have to be honest though, talking with indie devs is one of my favorite things to do at the game shows. It feels more closely knit since the game could have been created by one person or a fairly small team. The way indie devs also think, I admire very much. They look outside the box on how to play a game differently, but it still makes it fun. Overall, we had a blast at the Tokyo Game Show 2019. There was a little bit of everything for all kinds of gamers at this show, from the cool entertainment that the show floor provided to incredible mega booths big-time companies invested in. It goes to show how important this industry sees this expo, and how much fun a person can have.